I'm sorry. I was liking that Bob Marley, right? How you doing? Welcome to Community Crossfire, another point of view. I'm your host, Norman Oliver. I'm sorry I've been missing a couple weeks. The first week, I do have to take a vacation like once in a while. So I was on vacation the first week. And then last week, I was inducted into the Legends of Philadelphia African American Hall of Fame.
Really?
Yeah, Myself, Mark Shields, congratulations. And I was inducted for the work that we did at Stormers Classic. Mark Shields was inducted for Urban Youth, what he does with his, he does a lot of AAU stuff. Wilt Chamberlain was inducted. His sister was there. Vivian Stringer from Rutgers University, and Jane Banks. So it was a big event. And I want to personally thank Ted Blunt. Ted, thank you so very much for thinking of us, and Bobby Vanderhoos. Bobby, thank you very much. It was an incredible event. And let me thank all my coaches, man. Like guys like Wayne Jefferson, Alonzo Brown, Vincent Garlick, Ryan Pinkett, who was my treasurer. It's just Bob Cannon, who refereed when nobody else would. Danny Hicks and all those guys. Joe was one of the founders. Stormers Classic, and once you start naming people, you always gonna forget someone. But it was so many people who played a role. Aaron Hollywood Rivers, who worked for the News Journal, who passed on. And I'm humbled by that, Larry. My guest this evening, ladies and gentlemen, will be Larry Morris. Larry Morris was the former. When I knew Larry Morris, I think I was like 8, and he must have been 12. He was the president of the NAACP. But Larry, in all sincerity, a lot of us younger guys looked up to him, and I told you that, and I just appreciated the kind of work you did, and I think that our conversation tonight, Larry, even though we should emulate good people, if that makes sense, and this month is Breast Cancer Month. Breast Cancer Awareness Month. My sister Shavella Oliver, who put on the Bob Marley for me, gave me this pen. My mother died of breast cancer, so that's really dear to my heart and to our heart. So it's always touching when you talk about that issue. So how you doing, Larry?
I'm great. I'm just great. I'm enjoying this. I appreciate you extending me an offer to come on. I sit back and watch you and tell people I know you.
I don't know if that's good or bad. And let's get right into it. I want to talk about a couple issues, and we're going to take some phone calls. Right. And first of all, let me tell, hey Wayne, my man John King, Wayne knew you was going to be on. Y'all all working there with John Carney and keeping the criminals under surveillance, I guess. The Mother's Church Men Fellowship Breakfast will be October 27th at 9 o'clock.
Yes.
And you're going to be the guest speaker?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Good. Okay.
I'm excited about that.
Good for you. Do you know what you're speaking about?
Just in general, what men need to do to try to get themselves closer to God and closer to understanding who they are. Mm-hmm. We've been sold a Bill of Rights, men and black men in particular. We become good at being the wrong thing in terms of what men are supposed to be. We're taught at an early age we're supposed to be hard and tough, and we're not supposed to show emotions, and as we get older, we're definitely not supposed to say the three words, "I love you" to anybody. We're not supposed to do that.
Wow.
And we're not supposed to appear to be weak in any kind of way or submissive. And so we need to reverse that, because as we get older, we find out that gets us nowhere. Mm-hmm. And to come more in alignment to what we're supposed to be about, what God has intended for us to be, we have to reverse some of those things.
And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take phone calls tonight. I have 2 interns from Delaware State University working the cameras, and we're going to introduce them, because I want to talk about education, Larry.
All right.
You talk about black men. And one thing that has been frustrating to me, and I want to ask people watching, somebody told me an alarming statistic today that if children do not get the basic reading down by like 3rd grade, like 60% of them are going to fail, like young black kids. Right. That's alarming. And which I don't even know, I got this today too, Larry, this week, that Wilmington right now is not being represented in Christina School District. The guy, Anderson, Mr. Anderson, right, who came on this show, he ran for state senator against Bobby Marshall.
All right.
So he resigned off of Christina School Board.
All right.
So I think the city of Wilmington is supposed to have representation constitutionally.
Oh, that's what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So right now, we have no representation on the school board. I think that they had a deadline where they sent something out, and George Evans is the only person. Again, this is, I don't know for a fact. He's the only one that said, okay, I want to be on the board.
Right.
It's only 6 people on the board. 3 people said yes, 3 people said no. So we have no representation. But these are the kind of issues, Larry, that I think that the community, you know, and I've been talking about the school board forever. Mm-hmm. But this is kind of stuff that frustrates me, makes me mad, because we don't get involved into little Bilal or somebody gets in trouble.
Right.
And I just threw out a name, I'm sorry, you know.
Right. I think that's absolutely true. We are crisis oriented, and the only time we begin to talk about our children is when the headlines appear where they're either shooting somebody or there's an alarming statistic about dropout rate or so forth. We have to see the future and today, and we cannot provide for a future without providing for our children. We have to have representation on the school board. There are things going on in our schools. First of all, you know that there is an absence of color in our schools, in our public schools, and there is certainly an absence of men of color in our schools. And so we have children that come in who have attitudes and behaviors that are indicative of, say, the inner city. That may be just facade, that might not be who they really are. In most cases, it's not who they really are. But they will front that, and if we don't have staff who understands that's a front, then they give in. You
know, that's a great segue, right? And again, we're going to take some phone calls in a few. Is our school system, right, is the whole educational system broke down? Is it broken? I mean, does it need to be fixed? Did desegregation play a role? And this is the question I'm asking the viewers too. And the dropout rate, has it played a role in the violence in our neighborhoods? Did it play a role in, I mean, you know, I mean, like at one time you had inner city rivals, Wilmington High, Howard. I mean, you had Dilworth, you had PS. Now you have Newark, Glasgow. I mean, did that play a role in the breakdown in the family? You know, especially, and some folks are watching older than me, people who are still young, you know, young as I too, that, I mean, you know, when you had a teacher who knew your mother and knew your father, it struck a little fear in you. Absolutely.
I think that's absolutely correct. We have to have a connection between the community and the schools. If it had not been for teachers who knew my mother, then I probably would have acted up and may not be sitting here right now. But there's a breakdown altogether with our children. Our society, the time that we are in right now is really at a time that is of no other. You know, teachers are not like the teachers that we used to have. Coaches are not like the coaches that we used to have. Parents are not like the parents that we used to have. The social programming that we used to participate in, some of them are closed up.
Let me play devil's advocate. Are you do you not think? See, I agree and I disagree. I mean, do you think like teachers do not care as much as they used to?
I don't think it's not that. I don't think it's that. I think it's that they may not understand where these children are coming from. These children are hardened at an early age. You know, particularly I'm talking about the children who don't have parental guidance or a strong village that's guiding them to do the right thing. So our children come in and they don't even know what school's about. They don't even know why they're going to school, and no one has taught them how to act in school. But, so the teachers may overreact to some of their behaviors.
Is it the teacher's fault or is it the parents' fault?
It's a combination, because if the parents aren't preparing the children, and the teachers aren't able to deal with some of the behaviors and the attitudes, and and aren't able to go through that, to break through that facade that we talked about earlier. You know, if a child can't read, and everybody else is reading, or 3/4 of the room is reading, then before they're embarrassed, they will cuss the teacher out. They won't lose their reputation. Their reputation will enhance if they cuss the teacher out among their peers. But the teacher has to see through that to see that this child uses a cuss word. That doesn't mean they're a bad child. It doesn't mean they can't learn. They might even be potentially the most brightest student in the class. They just didn't get preparation before they came in.
Why do you think the dropout rate is so alarming? I mean, I'm bringing you back to something that you talked about, right?
All right.
What you said is there was a breakdown. You said the teachers, some of the parents and some of the people just don't care like they used to. And I'm not sure of that. I'm not sure.
I didn't say not care. I said they're different.
Well, even different, right? What does different mean?
It means that the teachers, for example, when we were coming up,
right,
they didn't care how we felt about what they were saying. They would have their rules and regulations and their consequences and so forth, and they weren't concerned about what your mom thought. Plus, your mom didn't come up there anyway,
right,
to raise a whole lot of cane. Today, I think that there's too much concern about how the child's going to react to discipline or structure, or even if some of the staff people are capable of providing such structure and discipline.
It goes back to what I said. Do you think DSEG, right, that happened 79, 80,
yes,
that played a major role in a breakdown in our school system? Or do you, I mean, now we've, what's that, 30 years removed now, and it still hasn't been corrected? Do you think that played a role in the whole violence that's perpetuating in our communities? Or let's stay with dropout rate. Let's talk about academics. Let's talk about discipline. I mean, either did or not. What's your thoughts?
I think it's a combination of a number of things. Why aren't there more teachers of color in the school system, no matter where the schools are?
Could it be that they're not majoring in it?
Absolutely, it is.
Okay,
it is because so why? I mean, there are a number of things that we have to address as a country. This is not just a Delaware problem. This is a problem. But I'm just saying, to address the problem of education, we have to address what teachers get paid. We have to address, the support system that teachers have, because there are many people who probably have an inkling that they would want to, could be good at teaching, but they have a feeling they could make money someplace else. So we're missing some of those people. So the people of color, male and female, are not in. If they're not in teaching as they should be, then why aren't they? And we need to address that.
Let me ask you two more questions, right? Because I'm enjoying this conversation.
All right.
Do you also believe that there's a problem once they took religion out of school, right? Because they pretty much take religion out of school, and also when they took discipline out, because these guys used to could come, and little did you know that they were in fraternities and all this kind of stuff. They was coming paddling you, and some of them was going to hell crazy, but some of them you feared,
Yes.
and some of it was tough love.
Yes.
I mean, they didn't kill anybody.
Yeah.
But do you think that taking discipline out of school and religion out of school also played a major role?
I think that, again, it played some part of it. Discipline, see, when even parents today say the government won't allow them to discipline their children, and that's not exactly true. I think what we're talking about is uncontrolled or unstructured discipline. The discipline that we got coming up, we can talk about getting beatings with coat hangers and so forth, and we're not traumatized by that, right, because we knew that it was an act of love. We knew that was a part of being raised. So in the school system back then, you had men coming in. I was in Libby's one day eating lunch with Mr. Pritchett, and this guy heard Mr. Pritchett's, this grown man in his like 40s, heard Mr. Pritchett's voice and came over and said, "Mr. Pritchett, is that you? I remember when you used to paddle me."
Right.
So he was appreciative. He loved Mr. Pritchett. So discipline without love, it doesn't work.
I understand. That's my point.
Yeah.
So I guess they took it out because they started getting a little too crazy.
We just have, yeah.
I mean, like Mr. Elsie, and you had guys like Mr. Williams and a lot of those guys. So what about religion? You think, I mean, I don't know, do they still say pledge allegiance to the flag? I mean, do you have silent prayer? I mean, because a lot of people, I mean, you get one person, ACLU, or one person who's like an atheist, and they like, wow, this is disrespecting my religion.
Yeah. I think I have several views about that. I think that to say
we have nothing but time
to say that when we took prayer out of schools that caused our schools to collapse. I don't totally believe that.
Right.
Because I'm not sure that I want somebody praying with my child who doesn't believe in prayer. So if you make that mandatory of the staff, in the schools to pray with the students, and they don't even believe in prayer, then that's going to cause more harm than good. So I'm not so sure that I want teachers praying with my children who don't believe in God or don't follow God.
I'm loving this conversation. Hold on for 1 second. Hey, Alvin, if you could you put the phone number up? Let's get some other people into this conversation, this debate about education, and where did it break down? Are we going the right direction? Is it time to look at vouchers? Do we need to look at more, I don't know, charter schools? Do we need to get back to one school system? Alvin, if you could put the number up, I appreciate it. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Larry.
I think that there are concepts of religion that are absent, you know, the concepts of love and respect. I think that we have to love everyone. I think that this society gets along much better when we consider and respect the feelings of everyone. And if we love you, if I love you, that's not a feeling. I don't have to feel like it. It's a decision that I make. So if we love somebody and we respect the children in the school particularly, then we're going to make sure those children get everything they're supposed to get. So we didn't really take, by taking religion out of the schools, that wasn't a complete downfall of the education.
Okay, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Good evening. A great topic, Norm, and to your guests. I want to say that and I hate to make everything political, but because I think the Democratic Party, in their attempt to make everything moral, to get rid of religion, we got the ACLU suing everybody about God. There's no discipline no more in the home. Not only no discipline in school.
So Calvin, the Democratic Party destroyed the school system?
That's my question.
You all never let me make a point before you cut me off.
Okay, go ahead.
What happened when the Democratic Party made just basic discipline of your children enough crime? If you spank your child, you could be brought up on charges now. And see what you should know. And look at a state like Delaware that is predominantly controlled by one party. You got a Democratic governor, 2 Democratic senators, a Democratic congressman, the county council's Democrat, the city council's Democrat, and look at the education system that's affecting the African Americans. It's deplorable. The public school system in Delaware, especially educating the African Americans in the city of Wilmington, is nothing. And our kids are suffering. We're not going to be able to compete for work. We're not able to get a number of things done. They've taken away the only thing that kept the black community together, and that was our religious strong values.
Calvin, may I speak? I mean, you can't filibuster the show. Am I allowed to speak?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Now, you do realize that the whole educational system was gone. Mike Castle was the governor. Del Wolf was the lieutenant governor. You had a Republican House of Representatives, Republican Senate. So what are you talking about? This is not about Democrat, Republican. The system has been deteriorating for a long time. What does a Democrat have to? Did you want to chime in?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Calvin, can I say something?
Public school system. We used to open up in prayer. I know he said he didn't particularly care about that, but we opened up in prayer. When I went to Northeast Elementary, we had pledge allegiance to the flag and Bible reading. Now, we might say that don't matter, but look at the moral climate. I grew up in the projects of Riverside. Now you look at where we've come from then to now, and if you say that by extracting religion out of schools,
I kind of agree with you. But Cal, let's because you know we got other phone calls. Go ahead, Larry.
I think, in all due respect to our Republican friend Calvin, part of the problem that exists within our society is how people want to throw stones and blame somebody else. And we have a problem that's serious in our educational system. Now, we don't have time nor room to spend all our time blaming somebody else. We have to be solution-oriented and not ready to blame somebody.
Let's take another call. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hi, Norm, Josie. How are you? Hi, Larry.
How you doing?
Hi. Listen, I just want to set something straight here that was on the Congo hour, because there was some information that was given that was incorrect. Now, I know you're speaking about something else, but let me straighten this out. The other evening when we was at the city council meeting, and that 12-year year contract was voted on, those persons that voted against that contract was Loretta Walsh, Trippy Congo, and Charles Potter. Hanifa Shabazz and Justin voted for that contract to go through. Now, Justin voted with Charles Potter's resolution to have it tabled, but when it came down to the real deal, Hanifa Shabazz and Justin Wright voted for the contract to go through. So
hey, Josie, can we deal with that issue another time when you come down here?
I just want
No. I understand that you setting the record straight, right? But I like when we bring up people's name, because obviously if 2 people voted for it, 6 other people had to vote for it, because it had to be 7 to vote. I mean, at least 5 other people. So it wasn't just those 2. So it had to be 5 other people. And if we're going to deal with an issue like that, I'd rather the people be here to defend themselves. And besides, I don't have all the facts. But I know you do. But I have you on the show, okay? Thank you.
All right.